Hello, my name is Darren Thomas and I am the Director of Educational Research Techniques. In this particular video, we're going to be focusing on some ideals related to management in the classroom. So let's go ahead and see what we can learn. Now, management in this video is going to be broken down into two things: responsibilities and skills. Responsibilities are like things that you have to get done, and of course you will use skills to get these responsibilities done. That's kind of the logic behind this. So starting with responsibilities, we have 3 or 4 here. You have to, as a teacher, of course, map the big picture. You have to supervise and control, and you also have to coordinate. Again, these terms might not seem mutually exclusive, but these are things that have to be done in the classroom, because students who are not under proper management are going to display improper behavior. That is kind of how it works in the classroom within education. Students require these things so that the teacher can focus, so that the student is able to learn and to grow in the classroom. So let's take a look at mapping the big picture. When we're talking about mapping the big picture, we're talking about developing a timeline, what you want to do over a day, a week, a month, over the course of a unit, over the course of a semester, over the course of a school year. It really involves having a sense of vision. Now, this is very difficult to do as a new teacher. In fact, I often encourage my new teachers just to make daily lesson plans, because it's very difficult for them to have a vision beyond that. But as you get comfortable with the content that you're teaching, and as you begin to develop experience and have an idea of where the students are at and how far you can take them, it becomes much, much more important that you're able to map beyond just the day. And so this is important because you need to be able to tell the students where they're at and where they are going. Now, this is kind of a cultural thing as well. It's probably more important in the West compared to the East, but students need to know that you know where you're going and you know where you're trying to take them, even if they don't necessarily agree with what you're doing. Next one here is supervising and controlling. This has to do with more of the dirty work of being a teacher. You got to be able to put in place some sort of a behavioral management plan where the students know, if I do such and such, A, then B is going to happen. When I do this, this will happen, etc. You need to have a consistent form of discipline in the classroom, because consistent discipline, even if it's bad, but consistent discipline will lead to consistent behavior from the students, because they can anticipate what it is you will do in response to their behavior. You know, we often hear examples of students making caricatures of teachers about what they're going to say based on a certain situation or how they're going to act in this particular situation. Those caricatures are actually a compliment. It means that the behavior of the teacher is so consistent, the students can make fun of it. You know, we all remember growing up as kids. Okay, well, if I do this, Mr. Johnson's going to say this, or Mr. Thompson's going to say this. Again, that kind of ridicule, if you will, is an example of a teacher who is so consistent the students can anticipate their response. And thus, it helps the student to decide if they really want to commit that act of improper behavior or not. Another major responsibility, and this is kind of related to the first two, is coordinating. So as a teacher, you have to try to find ways to get the students to work together. And you also have to be familiar with the context. It's similar to being a conductor. You know, when everybody is on the same page, you can make some beautiful music. And so this involves not just connecting with individual students, but connecting with groups of students and having them move together in a reasonable, predictable manner. Much harder to do than to just talk about. Okay, now we're moving into our managing skills, and there are 3 types of managing skills: technical, people, and conceptual skills. Now, you use your skills to complete your responsibilities, if you will, and that is kind of how this is set up. Now, for technical skills, there's basically, 3 ways to develop technical skills. your knowledge. This is, whatever school you may have gone to, experience, how long you've been in the classroom, and of course trainings, things you've done beyond school. All right. And so what's happening is that as you go through your teaching experience, you're going to continue to hone and to sharpen your technical skills. You're going to, of course, continue going to school, especially in the beginning. You're going to be in the classroom growing and learning as you get stronger. And of course, lastly, you're going to be doing workshops and other things during the course of the school year, especially at the beginning. They have workshops to continue to hone and to sharpen your skills as a teacher. Next, of course, you got to have your people skills, and this is your ability to connect with others. All students are not necessarily lovable. However, a good teacher must find ways to connect with as many students as possible. Now, I don't want to make up a fantasy that you're going to be popular and connected with every single one of your students. Sometimes there are severe personality clashes that make it difficult for a teacher and a student to get along. This happens. You can't have a victory in every battle. However, you do want to try to minimize those types of situations, because if you're struggling to get along with too many students, well, it looks like you might be the problem. So as you are going into the classroom, you have to make sure that you find ways to motivate and to connect with your students. And this is going to vary from person to person, but it's something that you need to be aware of. Next, we have here conceptual skills. This is kind of related to, getting the people to work together. And it has to do with like coordinating and things of that nature, negotiating, being able to take complicated ideals in a textbook or a teacher's manual and make them simple and easy to understand for children, whether it's high school, college, elementary, whatever. These are things that are skills that must be developed over time, and it's easier said than done. Now, to wrap up this video, we basically took a look at two major ideals when it comes to management in the classroom, and that is some of the responsibilities of a teacher, vision, getting people to work together, etc., and some of the skills, technical skills, people skills, and conceptual skills. You need the skills in order to accomplish the responsibilities, and these two ideals work together as you continue your journey as an instructor of the classroom. So I would like to thank you very much for listening and watching. My name is Darren Thomas. I am the Director of Educational Research Techniques. Thank you so much for watching, and you take care.